Itoshi has finally returned to Bllk, and Spain's new Gen 11 player has been revealed. Bllk Chapter 307 has just released. Let's talk about it. So the chapter starts with Isagi landing in Barcelona. The narrator saying Isagi's long-awaited trip to Europe begins. Heading to the country of football and passion, a new ego awaits. With Isagi saying, I'm here. We cut to the next page of him walking down the streets of Barcelona with him saying, Spain, Barcelona. It was inside the cardboard box sent by Ego, a plane ticket and a football match ticket. Followed by Isagi continuing to speak to himself saying, get to know the world's football firsthand. That's the task from Ego. Might as well do a bit of sightseeing too. There are also tickets for matches in England, Germany, and other countries. But today's game is the Spanish League's Copa del Rey final. Isagi will also be going to other games. Remember that. The match that Isagi will be going to is none other than FC Bllk versus Chocorrid. With Isagi saying a super intense match in one of the world's top leagues, La Liga. Bllk is the club Bachata and Otoya chose during the Neo-Egoist League, and this is their top team. And apparently, according to sources, Chocorrid is actually the off-brand team of Atletico Madrid. We then cut to Isagi entering a cafe with him saying, I'm ridiculously excited, with his stomach started grumbling. Isagi says, whoa, but before that, I have to eat first. As we see people sitting at a table and the menu is in Spanish. And Isagi realizes this real fast. As he says, I don't get it at all. It's all in Spanish. I don't understand Spanish. Even if I look at the menu, as he gets cut off and looks at the guy across from him. With Isagi saying, whoa, that looks tasty. Excuse me, hello. As he approaches this mysterious individual across the restaurant eating something. As we see in the next page, it turns out to be none other than Spain's new Gen 11 player. But Isagi doesn't realize that yet. The new individual saying, hola. With Isagi responding, hola. He has a scar on his face. What is it? That food. As the guy says, huh? As Isagi says in the next page, what is the name of this dish? With the mysterious individual saying, oh, I can hear you. That's called arifu, pasta pella. With Isagi responding, huh, arifu. With the mysterious individual responding, where did you come from? With Isagi chiming in saying, from Japan. As the mysterious figure says, really, what are you doing here? As we cut to the next page, Isagi's still chopping it up, talking this dude's ear off, saying, I want to lead football to be the best in the world. I want to learn more and more. With the mysterious figure saying, do you like football? With Isagi chiming in the most happiest way possible, saying, yeah, the more I learn about it, the more I've come to love it lately. Like how even tactics and formations have their history. With Isagi continuing saying, it's so cool, or how the evolution of modern soccer has accelerated thanks to scientific analysis. It's incredible. Just talking this dude's ear off like it's nothing. And once again, in the next page, Isagi just keeps running his mouth with him saying, but still, it's the individuality of each player that shapes the trends of an era. That's why I'm super excited for tonight's match too. With the individual saying, huh, you're lucky. Isagi responding, come on, you must have at least one or two things you really like too, right? With the mysterious individual saying, I feel like I used to, but it's been a long time since I've really understood myself. As he manages to get up from the table. And with a very fake smile on his face, he says, when I see someone like you who looks so happy, it makes me want to die. Isagi saying, huh? Somehow I feel like I've said something wrong. I'm sorry. With the mysterious figure saying, no, I'm the one who's in the wrong. It's not your fault. I was just being overly sentimental. With Isagi responding, no, but ever since we first met, you've always smiled like you were lonely. As this gets the mysterious figure saying, what the heck? That's super rude. With Isagi saying, wow, sorry, but seriously, that face of yours. Literally already getting to the point and basically slurring this dude out. The clapback is insane. The new Gen 11 player tried it, but doesn't realize who he's talking to. He'll soon realize it. Oh, he will. We then see the new Gen 11 player get up from the table and say, okay, I'll go first then. Thank you for the fun time. As Isagi responds, as he gets cut off by the new Gen 11 player saying, have a nice football trip. With Isagi saying, gracias. Excuse me, one agua de, please. This one. As the cashier says, that's agua de ruda, rue water. With Isagi saying, huh? As the new Gen 11 player chimes in and says, you'll want to die after you drink that. Saying in a sing-songy voice. This dude's already kind of an ass, but it's kind of hilarious. We then cut to a giant stadium that Isagi Oichi is walking into. As Isagi says, what the heck? That guy's a liar. That was close. I made it in time. If the crowd had seen me like that, they probably would have laughed. This is the passion of the historic Spanish League, the sacred ground of the world's greatest football. So already this new Gen 11 player is he's a bit of a liar. He's not nice in any way, shape, or form. He does it in a way that's calculated, like a certain individual whose name rhymes with Lizer. We then cut to Isagi's point of view saying, "I'll be there one day," as we see the inside of the stadium with a whole bunch of people filling up the stands. We then cut to Isagi sitting in the stands as the players start to walk out. The commentator saying, "Now, players from both teams enter." We then see none other than Lavino manage to make it out on the field. As Isagi says, "It's Lavino, super popular. I guess these superstars really played in Blue Lock." And in case you didn't notice, Isagi has a fine-ass woman next to her, and he doesn't even care. No, he's focused on the goal. He's focused on the dream. He's focused on the future. Brother, if I were you, I would have folded. I'm sorry. I'm not watching the game. I'm focusing on her. You're a better man than me, Isagi. We then cut to the field as kickoff happens, and we see none other than the stranger we saw at the cafe. And Isagi notices this immediately, with Isagi saying, "Huh? Wait a second. This guy, he's the one from earlier. What's going on? That line guy from before." And this individual turns out to be none other than Bunny Iglesias, a forward for FC Bllk, with a height of 181 centimeters, 6 feet tall, and a weight of 76 kilograms at the age of 19. With Isagi saying it's a Bllk's regular player? Wait, a member of the new generation World 11? As he looks up on his phone everything about this new individual. With Isagi saying a key figure in both scoring and assisting from the beginning of the season. With Lavino saying Bunny as supporters scream Bunny. With Isagi responding, "No way, what an amazing jumping ability." Hence the bunny aspect, because he can jump high. It makes sense. As we see Lavino kick the ball to Bunny, and Bunny jumping up to get the assist. And in no time whatsoever, Bunny manages to kick the ball and score a goal. In a beautiful double spread, the commentator says, "Super goal, Bunny Iglesias." As we are finally formally introduced to none other than Bunny Iglesias, Spain's new Gen 11 player. And in the final page of Blue Lock Chapter 307, we see from Isagi say, "That guy too. Could he be a rival I face in the U20 World Cup? I still don't know yet." As we see an individual watching the same game that Isagi is, but from a TV. That individual being none other than Itoshi. With the narrator saying, "That world-class talent is waiting. In the abyss of his eyes, boiling fighting spirit blazed fiercely. Once again, something stirs in Sai's heart." No break next week. Chapter 308 will be titled Cocky Chicken. So without a shadow of a doubt, Bunny Iglesias had something to do with Itoshi not wanting to be a striker anymore. And based on his demeanor, I know exactly how it happened. Homie was bullied out of being a striker and became a midfielder instead. At least that's what we're being led to believe. And odds are we're probably going to get some sort of backstory for Itoshi sometime soon. But this was genuinely an awesome chapter. Getting to see Spain's new Gen 11 player in all his entirety, amazing. Also getting insight on the fact that Isagi Oichi will be going to other games aside from this one to study is also peak cinema. Overall, I love this chapter. And by God, we finally got Itoshi back in Blue Lock.